Today, we travel back to 2001 to answer the question, does the original Spy Kids hold up today? Or is the CGI just a fever dream?
Plot is actually kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it, actually. It's so different and out of left field.
Plus, will Seth stump me on this episode's trivia question?
Was Juni's full name Juni Rocket Racer Rebel Cortez, true or false?
Finally, we'll answer the most important question. For Spy Kids, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at Grandma's? Are you going to hide it in the attic? So grab your snacks and get ready to suit up. It's time to watch another movie at Grandma's. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome to Movies at Grandma's House, where we love to revisit the movies from our childhood to answer the question, does it still hold up? And is it family-friendly enough that even Grandma will enjoy? And I'm your host, Isaac. I snap my fingers, and my fingers snap you.
And this is Seth. Wow. We are definitely going to be late for school.
It is great to see you, Seth. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. For the fine folks at home, though, to remind them, what is Grandma putting on for us to watch today?
Spy Kids.
Okay, if you have not seen this movie, fair warning, we're going to be talking about our reaction, our experience coming back to this film. So it is going to be spoiler territory. Consider yourself warned. Well, while Grandma is messing around with that VCR, trying to get the thing figured out, let's get a little bit more about this movie by looking at the back of the case for some film facts. So Spy Kids was released back on March 30th, 2001. It is now 25 years old this year. The budget, $35 million. The box office, $147.9 million. Looking around at some reviews, IMDb is at a 5.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 92%. Letterboxd is a 3 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it for free on Tubi. It stars Alexa Penavega, probably butchered that name, but that's her name, Daryl Sabera, Antonio Banderas, Alan Cumming, and many more. It's an association with Dimension Films. And last but not least, we have to hear, how does Grandma feel about this one?
So Granny's family-friendly rating for Spy Kids is a B+ for action.
There it is. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So again, 25 years ago this came out. We'd love to hear your memories and how you would rate Spy Kids. Well, let's jump into this, Seth. I'm interested to start with you on what are your first memories with Spy Kids?
So really, I had never seen this before, so I had no memories.
Whoa. Okay. We'll talk about it. Like, this seemed like it was everywhere when it came out. I was in school, and a bunch of my friends, ones in school, they always talked about this movie. It was just like, oh, Spy Kids this, Spy Kids that. And my memory is, I'm kind of like you. I have never seen it from start to finish. It would be on with clips here and there, but I don't know what it was. It didn't appeal to me as much as this, well, I'm sure talk about more, is really focusing on kids. It just never hit for me. So I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Another film that we both did not watch, we're going to be enjoying for the first time. Well, with that thought in mind, since you've never seen it, what were your expectations going into it?
So I had heard about this film from a few different people. I just heard that it was very different and unique, and that was my expectations. That's all I had to go into it.
Right on. I was like, I hope I'm not going to put it too high, because again, I was hyped up when it came out, and for years and years I heard all this and that. Kind of like you said, there's ones who recommended, you guys you gotta try Spy Kids. That's what I grew up on. So I was like, okay, I need to lower these expectations because I'm hearing this is wonderful, this is great. Maybe it hasn't aged well. That was kind of my expectation. What is it going to be like 25 years later? And is it something my kids can enjoy? I mean, when I was younger, it seemed like I said, the group I hung out with, they enjoyed it, but it's another thing to see how my kids would fare when they're watching it. Well, before we get into the plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls. with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right, let's take the VHS out of its cover. Let's put it in the VCR and press play.
After learning that their parents are ex-spies and have been taken hostage, Carmen and Juni must find and rescue their parents from an evil mastermind. Action and hijinks ensue, all because Granny put on another spy flick. So sit back and enjoy. This is Spy Kids.
Very nice. Yes, this is not hiding what it's about. It's a spy movie for kids. And I got to hand it to him. That's kind of a unique concept of going that route because you have all these famous spy movies, these thrillers, and this goes into it right off the bat. It's just appealing for kids. It's got that humor, even kind of the visuals. I could see that be appealing to kids as I'm watching it. But I got to get your take because, again, you've never seen this before. So what's kind of your first impressions as you're watching the film?
So honestly, like 30 to maybe 45 minutes into this movie, I was like, what am I watching? I've never seen anything like this before. So I didn't know what to think. I honestly was just blown away by the creativity, maybe the imagination that was in this picture.
Yeah, that is the thing about it. It's just unique. I will give it a lot of props for that. I don't think there was anything like this film. I understand why people were talking about it when this is new, when this just was released. I will say, with the good and the bad, so here we are 25 years later. Something I forgot to point out. One thing that was a turnoff or just like I wasn't really interested in was the CGI. Even back then, the CGI looked a little poor to me. Coming back to this now, 25 years later, it is not aged well at all. What did you think of the CGI?
I don't know what to think of it because it's so different. Like even the computer graphics were like unique to the film. I don't know what else to say. We're going to be saying that a lot. Unique.
Yes. Good and bad, right? It's like it's different, but it's so different. The CGI was trying to, I don't know, have its own style, but it just looks so fake at times, unfortunately. Now, going back to this is for kids. I don't think kids are going to notice it, though. I don't know if that was just a me thing. When I was younger, I kind of thought this isn't as good CGI. Maybe I was just spoiled. You're coming out of the 90s. This was, again, 2001. And CGI was still developing. It wasn't like they were state-of-the-art in every movie. But I think I was just spoiled or something. I don't know. That was the big thing that jumped out to me about this movie, other than being unique. I'll give it praise because that is kind of a cool concept that it's not the adults, but now these kids have got to take on being spies to stop this threat, that's going on. What did you think of the plot? We'll kind of jump into that part of it, the story overall.
Once again, unique. So I wrote down strange and odd. Those are the words that I picked. Very, very different. It's just such a strange story. And I mean, we'll get into the characters, but the characters really propel the story because the plot is actually kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it, actually. It's so different and out of left field. What did you think?
Yeah, it was like a double cross going on as the villain. It's Alan Cummins playing the what you think is the villain, and he's this TV show like character that is really popular with children, but it's a disguise of what's really going on behind the scenes. They're developing these like robots that can be humans, and they're still fine tuning it because that's kind of the hilarity is they've tested it on people and it transforms them into these mutated like thumbs, these mutated like looking creatures and stuff. So that's the threat. That's what's going on. Antonio Banderas and I forget her name, but she's the parent. They do wonderful as the parents, but they get captured. So now it's their children that come to rescue them. So I think the story is fun. I think it's a fun and, like you said, unique. I could definitely get behind it. It's just a little, I don't know how to describe it. It's like seeing those thumbs for the first time. What did you think when you saw those thumbs?
I didn't I didn't register what they were. Like it was like, wait, what? What's going on here? So he had to explain it. He explained it, and he's like, I'm like, okay.
Somebody's like having them do something. I forget the other guy's name. He's like a contractor that he's going to have this army, and that's who's
Joe
really
bad
going
guy.
to. Yeah, the main like baddie. And he has them try and do something. I forget what it was, but it isn't able to pick up. And he's like, oh, all thumbs, useless. It is kind of humorous in a way. It's like they're the minions, quote unquote, but they're all thumbs, so they can't do what they're supposed to. It's just so silly. But it kind of appeals to the kids. Once again, I have to say it's something I feel like is, they're not apologizing about it at all. Like, this is for kids. They're going to find this so silly. And it's about kids rule. That 90s theme was kids rule. It kind of spilled over from that. So this film was definitely leaning into it. But we kind of touched on a little bit. I mean, the characters, like you said, they do kind of drive the plot. So what did you think of the characters?
So I really enjoyed the main characters, but the supporting cast and the cameos were great. I thought that the usage of the side characters was brilliant. And that really kind of was the strong suit for me as far as this movie goes. And I was shocked, like, over and over again. Wow, they're in this? They're in this? This is the same thing over and over.
Right. Again, 25 years ago, there's some big names. Like, you'll recognize their face from all kinds of different TV shows and other movies, things like that. I really, again, I go back to Antonio Banderas. It just feels like he's having a good time with this, along with the rest of the cast, honestly. But I could definitely see it with him. I loved his little moments that he got to shine. There's the time where he's dropping off Juni to school, and there's a bully that's picking on him, and the dad's right there. So in his mind, he's visualizing like throwing him through a window. What'd you think of that scene?
I love that scene. I loved it so much, I almost rewound it and watched it again. I really did enjoy that. And you're thinking that's what's happening, but then it's just his imagination. And I'm a sucker for those scenes. So it was nice.
Yes, me too. I mean, we both seem to enjoy it, especially being a parent. You almost do that. I have to fully admit, like, I'm not going to deny it. Sometimes you see stuff happening with your kids and you visualize, like, what if I just did this? So maybe I related to that a little too much. I don't know. But yeah, I think he's great. I mean, the kids are good too. Like, I was thinking, is this going to have bad acting? I think they played off well. There were some good jokes where they're underwater. They're going to that hideout initially after they become spies and everything. And she tells Carmen does, to close his eyes. And there's like a scary creatures. And after it passes, he's like, thank you. And she's like, you're welcome. I just don't want you crying all over me. Like, the way she delivered that line, I was cracking up. So they shine here too. I mean, it needs to, because it's called Spy Kids. They're the central point, but I really enjoyed them. What did you think of the kids overall?
I was kind of shocked at their acting. They're pretty young, and they pulled off quite a bit of a script. They had a lot of lines. They had a lot of different emotions and different scenes. I thought there was some family stuff that was interesting that I didn't think it was going to be like integral to the movie, but it was. And I thought they kind of like brought that back, and that was good. I liked that. Yeah.
You have the guy that was posing as like the uncle that was taking care of him at the beginning. I thought that was kind of funny, and he knows all the spy stuff. And that's kind of fun too, seeing them realizing, wait, our parents, they can't be spies. You know, they're boring people, but they are actually spies, as it turns out. And all the gadgets, I think that's kind of appealing for kids. I go back to, like, again, the CGI at times can take you out, but if you just let it go, just, okay, this is, again, 2001, this is for kids. I thought some of the stuff, I was kind of like, I wish that was in real life. The auto cabinet filling up with food when they go to that, like, abandoned shed, I thought that was like, why don't we have that yet? Just like press of a button. Oh, we're out of milk and cereal and all this stuff. You just press a button, like that kind of stuff. I was like, this is pretty cool. I gotta admit, like this is for kids, but I'm even enjoying this. But yeah, anything else that you want to bring out and touch on?
So there was a scene that I wanted to talk about. So even though it's really quickly paced, I really enjoyed the scene where what you were talking about. The kids find out their parents are indeed spies. I enjoyed the rushed feeling when their fake uncle tells them what was going on and what happened and what to do. And the chaos in that scene was fun and relatable and to some extent. Like, of course, our parents aren't spies, but um, it was still fun to watch that play out and then the action and then like the quick paced speed of that sequence was just felt right.
Yeah. There was some times where I think the pacing was off at times, but that wasn't one of them. I think it's a best way I can make it is it was a little inconsistent. Probably at the time, that's how the pacing, how things kind of are developed, but maybe just modern take when you're looking back on it, and it could just be a me thing. I was feeling a little bit of the inconsistencies there, but there was times where it's like, man, this is actually really good. I was getting engaged and I was really pulled back into it. So you got to just take it for what it is. This is a older flick, 2000s. It feels like this is setting the stage for more things to come. It's still a solid effort. I got to say, again, it's original concept. The characters are great. Even like, I would even bring out like a Danny, what's his name? Trey, Joe, however you say his last name. He's actually the brother of Antonio Banderas. Like, he's great. I mean, the characters are just fun. Like, it's just, again, leaning into this is for kids. We're going to have a silly old time. And everybody's just looking like they're having a good time too. It's not like, okay, great, we got to do this movie and they're phoning it in. I could pick up on that. So I really enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, I was just going to mention one other thing was the feeling I was getting was it's almost like kids telling the story, not like an adult. Did you get that feeling overall?
Yeah, I did. There were a few scenes that really put that in the forefront. And I really liked how, like I said before, the kids carried that emotion sometimes, which was kind of a lot to ask for. I've said this a lot, but a lot to ask for such younger, child actors. But they did a really good job. And what you're saying is right on point.
Yeah. So there's probably going to be something for everybody. I think the glaring thing about this, unfortunately, is the CGI. Maybe it's okay to you. It was kind of an eyesore at times for me overall. So I'm not gonna deny it or defend it or whatever. Like I was kind of, oh, this is bad. But again, I tried to be look into it with a level head of like, again, this was 25 years ago we're talking about. Well, I'm sure, again, 25 years, there's got to be some fun facts. So Seth, what you got?
All right, so our first fun fact is the Spy Kids stayed at number 1 at the U.S. box office for 3 weeks.
Wow. Man, that would have been, again, March. I'm trying to think if there was much competition, but you still got to come in 3 weeks. I mean, back then, that's for, maybe we're just used to sequels and stuff. I don't know. Do you remember? Yeah, I remember the marketing for this was everywhere. So I guess it paid off for the marketing, that's for sure.
So I'm not sure about this next one. So if anybody's out there that wants to correct me, that's fine. The last scene of the film, and while they were doing post-production, was done at Skywalker Ranch, where George Lucas introduced Robert Rodriguez to high-definition digital filmmaking, which I did not know about that fun fact until I read it. And I was like, well, that kind of makes sense, I guess, because he he's a really big film director, but not known for the kid stuff. So yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Again, going back to the CGI, I think what it is they're trying to make it its own unique thing, but they're also going for the realistic. So that doesn't surprise me that they were doing their homework, so to say. They got some resources to pull because this is actually, I will say also a lot more CGI than I was expecting was the other thing. So maybe George Lucas was, kind of like, yeah, you should put it here. You should put it here. Who knows? But that's still pretty cool.
So I read one thing about it that was like, it was the last scene. And then I read another thing that like George Lucas Skywalker Ranch was used for the whole film. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't, I think it's more like post-production stuff.
Yeah. Because I'll be honest, if it was Skywalker sound and all, it probably would have been better.
I that's kind of what I felt too. So I'd like if somebody knows, please let us know.
Yeah.
The next one I thought was really interesting. So many of the exterior scenes were filmed in Chile.
Okay. Yeah, because it has kind of the, it's Hispanic and Spanish, but I was like, it's not quite like Latin America, I wouldn't say. So maybe I was picking up on that, but it's still great scenery. I really will give them props for that too. The Chile scenery, they picked out some good spots. It does kind of make it unique. Goes along with that.
There are
style.
a couple gorgeous shots in this movie.
Yeah.
Now, they kind of stand out because there's not many. But
visually, it's just visually, it's a little off for me. But those I do appreciate. Yes.
So the next one, I really found this entertaining. So Brie Larson and Elizabeth Olsen both auditioned for the role of Carmen.
That puts things into perspective. Like we see those names and you think of them as adults, but they were auditioning as kids. That's how. Oh man, you try and put time in perspective. That's kind of cool though. You the what ifs. What if they would have casted them? Yeah. Interesting. That's a cool one.
It's just very intriguing. The list of people they were considering for this movie for all the roles was amazing. Like truly go to the fun facts on IMDb, look at, the trivia, look at who all they auditioned, who all was considered. It's just crazy. They had like everybody wanted to be a part of this movie apparently. So
I could see that though. Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, true or false this time? Okay. All right, so was Juni's full name Juni Rocket Racer Rebel Cortez, true or false?
His full name, if that was... It sounds so out there, right? Like Rocket Racer? Is that what you said?
Yes. It in this question, it says, was his full name Juni Rocket Racer Rebel Cortez?
I'm going to go with true. It just sounds like something kid would have in this kind of a movie.
It's true.
All right. And that's
well done, good sir.
And that's a joke of Carmen. Like I forget her full name, but she says her name, and that.
Oh, I wish I would have wrote it down. Oh,
yeah.
I wish I would have wrote it down. Yeah.
I'm kicking myself too because that's a good gag of she says her name and it's the full name, and a lot of gadgets unlock that way. So that's why I was like actually leaning that way. I was like, her name's really long, so his had to be pretty similar. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm feeling great. I'm doing pretty decent. I want to say. I hope that continues with trivia so far this season. But I'm feeling.
Yeah, we'll
great.
have to get a list of this season. But yeah, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep riding that wave. Who knows? I'm gonna come crashing back down eventually, I'm sure. But I'll enjoy it while it lasts. Okay. Well, before we get to our rating, we like to kind of look around the net, just see what kind of opinions, thoughts are out there. So, Seth, what kind of reviews are you seeing?
All right. The first one was from Shooting Shark, says, goofy, lovable, thrill-a-minute, comedy action, junior league spy thriller, 7 out of 10.
Oh, very nice. That makes sense. I mean, if you like spy movies, I wonder just the overall consensus. This is, again, geared towards kids. But I feel they did a decent job with it. Like it's entertaining. It's obviously going to be for the kids, but that is interesting. Like overall, what is the thought process on that? But that's a good one.
Theo Robertson said, entertaining enough despite the flaws, 5 out of 10.
So right down the middle. I don't know if we've had a 5 out of 10 in a while, but that's pretty fitting if they felt that way. It is back and forth. We've talked about it. It's good and bad at times.
All right, so we have another repeat offender. Snoopy Style says, fun, wacky kids movie, 7 out of 10.
It's definitely wacky, that's for sure, but it is fun. I will say at times you can have a good laugh and fun. So good to see a familiar face, though. I haven't heard from them in a while, so that's good.
And I will say, usually with our reviews, they kind of range all over the place. So you have to look and see what's kind of, what's going on. But with this one, they were usually around 6 or 7. So... There was hard to find any variation, so I tried to find what was interesting.
That sounds about right, though. I mean, we've talked about it. 6, 7 is actually a good score. I would say that's above average, so not surprising there. But it is interesting if those reviews were when it came out. I'd like to hear their thoughts on the CGI today, or maybe Maybe they thought it was okay and thought it was unique at the time, but that would be my only question for them. Well, one other thing we like to do is we like to put the movies through the kid test. Are you ready to hear? Because I have 4 children. They have different age ranges. So starting with my oldest, 10 years old, he loved this movie. He was like, take it home, and loved it so much. When the credits rolled, he was like, can we watch the second one? He was like a hooked fan instantly. So around the 10 years old, at least in my experience, I think that's going to hit on them absolutely. And my next, he's 8 years old. He enjoyed it, but he was a little freaked out from like the thumbs and the creatures and stuff. That actually kind of freaked him out a little bit, but he really liked it too. So he probably had around a take it home, but just a little concern there. Also, the same thing with my 6-year-old. He really liked it, but he was a little bit more freaked out than my 8-year-old from those sequences. My 3-year-old, he was just kind of like, okay, I like the action. And then he was distracted with something else. He's just at that age. So it was really interesting to see that range, though, of the ages of like oldest is going to be hooked. And then as you get down, they kind of just get a little less distracted. But I got to say, it really passed the kid test. Like all of them were talking about it. They were, oh, what'd you think about this? And it was just kind of fun to see their reaction afterward of, okay, this is like watching movies when I was their age. That was kind of giving me those memories of that. So big thumbs up on that. Good job, Spy Kids.
I love it.
All right. Well, let's get down to it. I'm going to ask you this question, Seth, as we always do. For Spy Kids, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Are you going to hide it in the attic?
So it was a bit too wacky for me, but still, it was very fun. The characters are great. The story was slightly weak, in my opinion. I will watch this at grandma's.
Not bad. I think that's a great way to put it. My take is it's inconsistent. It's like, I saw a lot of potential in this one. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt because you're talking, it was 2001, where it was like, wow, we talked about the cast, all these actors. It was just like, wow, this isn't your straight to video kind of feeling. Because I think that's what was a kind of a put off for me. Like, this feels like a straight to video and they're releasing it in the movies. And that was just from the previews. But no, there's some good quality content in here. The writing is a little weak at times. We kind of talked about like the pacing can be a little slow. So this is not a perfect movie to me. As far as kids go, if you got kids, they're going to probably have a great time like they did with my kids. But I am also going to be with you. This is a watch it at grandma's for me. I wouldn't hide this in the attic because there's a lot of funny parts. There's just some silly wackiness. It's just not something I'm going to want to watch all the time, just to be frank. I mean, it's unfortunately an eyesore to me. Like the CGI just wasn't my thing. And that doesn't mean everything, but it does deduct a few points for me too of like the inconsistencies in the CGI, unfortunately, is the downfall for this one. But I'll still recommend it. Again, if you have kids, it's something that you want to check out. All right. Well, there you go, folks. We got another movie in the books. This is celebrating its 25th anniversary. Still crazy to think. I can almost visualize when this came out and to say it was 25 years ago. It's just, I can't comprehend it. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at LADX Media. You can email us at moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a great newsletter and are revamping our Patreon, so check those out. We also are brought to you by movieposters.com, so be sure to use code Grandma's House for up to 15% off.
That's it. Yeah, be sure to drop us a line. Any requests also, any movies you'd like for us to cover. Ben was one. I'm going to give you a shout out because you said we need to cover Spy Kids. Well, here we go. We got it for you. So if there's a movie that you're like, I would love for you guys to cover, feel free to message us. All those links that Seth mentioned. And as always, be on our newsletter. It's free to sign up. You will be entered for a free movie poster. We do it once a month. It's so much fun from movieposters.com. Well, that's going to do it for our time at Grandma's, but don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.